Hey warrior, let me guess you've been feeling overwhelmed. Lately maybe your mind's been racing at night. You are laying there in bed starting at the ceiling, going over everything that went wrong or could go wrong. You tell yourself to stop, you try to breath, but that feeling's right in your chest, right in your gut, just won't let go. The stress, the uncreativity, the fear. You smile during the day, but deep down there quite war going on inside you. You're not alone. Honestly, most of us are crying way more than we show. We wrong about money, about relationship, about the future, about what people think. We try to plan every detail, control every outcome, but somehow it never feels like enough. So what do we do here? Something you might not expect. What if the answer to all this wrong was found not in a modern app or therapist office? Through both can help, but in ancient wisdom from over 2,000 years ago. I am talking about Stoicism, powerful philosophy that was practiced by Roman emperors, soldiers, slaves, and scholars alike. And guess what? It still works today, because back then, just like now, was unpredictable. People faced war, betrayal, illness, and her break. They couldn't control the chaos around them, but they learned to control the way they respond to it. That's what today's video is all about. You're about to learn 8 Stoics habits that will help you stop worrying, not just temporary, but deeply meaningfully. This aren't just tips, they're mindset shifts, ancient tools that can build inner peace in a world that tries to break it. And don't worry, this isn't a lecture you need a philosophy degree to understand any of this. Everything we talked about today, we be practical, simple, and very real, whether you're a student, a parent, an entrepreneur, or someone just trying to survive each day. There's something here for you. Let me share a quick personal story before I begin. A few years ago, I was stuck, completely overwhelmed. I was checking my phone 80 times a day, refreshing email, chasing validation, drowning in overthinking. I thought worrying meant I was being responsible, but what it really meant was that I didn't trust myself. One night, I stumbled onto a quote from Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor who journalized through wars and pandemic. It said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That hit me like a thunderbolt. Spent your trying to control the uncontrollable, but I haven't once tried to master my own mind. That's when things started to shift. I started reading more, practicing Stoics habits, rewiring the way handle stress, and the best part, you don't have to change your whole life to find peace. You just have to change the way you see your life, and that's what these 8 habits are going to help you do. Well, go through it one step by step. You hear quotes from real Stoic thinkers, and I will give you real world example of how these habits have helped not just ancient philosopher, but real people today, people like you and me. This is more than video, it's a conversation, so take a deep breath. You are not broken, you're not weak for worry, but you are powerful enough to change your response. And that's exactly what we are about to do together. So do me a favor, if that hit home, type this in the comment. I choose peace or control. If this speak to you, makes your like, comment, share, and subscribe, and drop your thoughts along the way. I ready comment now. Let's begin. Master the art of premeditations. Number 1. Master the art of premeditation. Let me ask you something. Have you ever worried about something that didn't even happen? Of course you have. We all have. We imagine the worst, a breakup, job loss, humiliation, illness, and suddenly our bodies react like it's already real. The worry consumes, but the Stoics had powerful solution. Premeditation, melorum, the predimation of evil. Seneca once said, he robs present ills of their power who has perceived they are coming beforehad. This habit may sound negative at first, thinking of bad things that could happen, but it's the opposite. It's not about becoming fearful, it's about becoming prepared. Each morning, a Stoics would ask, what can go wrong today? What trials may come? What insults may be thrown? What losses may appear? By imagining the worst calmly, they robbed it of its power. They made peace with it before it's even arrived here. How you use this habit today before an important meeting. Ask what the worst that can happen and how would I handle it with strength and grace. Before a weak decision, ask, if I lose everything, what do I still have inside me? Before going into your day, ask, what might taste my patience today? Who might provoke me? And how will I respond? Like a Stoics, not a slave to emotion. W.R. Roy comes from the unknown, but when you walk into battle having already rehearsed it in your mind, You become unshakable. You may still feeling nervous, but you won't be dominant by it. You have rehearsed your dignity, your self-control, your inner clam. And that makes you stronger than 99% of people who go into life blindly hoping for peace, but preparing nothing for work war. So starting today, before you begin your day or your next week challenge, take 2 minutes, close your eyes, and calmly walk through what could go wrong. Then calmly remind yourself, I am ready, because that's the power of Stoicism, not to pretend bad things don't happen, but to prepare for them so they no longer control you. The control test number 2. Practice the control test. Have you ever found yourself worrying about zero? Something completely out of your hands, the weather, what people think, the past, the economy, someone not replying to your message, we all being there. And the more we focus on what we can't control, the more helpless we feel. This is where one of the most powerful Stoics tools comes in, the dichotomy of control. Epictetus, one of the great Stoics philosophers, said some things are up to us, and some things are not. Simple words, but they hold the key to peace. The Stoics believed that all things in life fall into 2 buckets. 1, things you can control, your thoughts, your actions, your reaction, your values. 2, things you cannot control, other people, outcomes, your past, most of the future. Here where most people go wrong, they give 90% of their energy to things in bucket, to things they can't control, and then they wonder why they feel anxious, burnout, and powerless. But a Stoics warrior redirects that energy. When the Stoics is criticized, he doesn't obsess over what they said, he focuses on how he responds. When a Stoics faces uncreativity, he doesn't try to predict the future, he focuses on preparing his mind. When a Stoics betrayed, he doesn't drown, focuses on keeping his character clean. These is the control test. Ask yourself with every worry, is this inside my control? If the answer is no, release it, let it go. Eat the answer is yes, focus only on what you can do here. How you build this habit today. When you are my, start spinning passu and ask, is this in my control? If it's not, imagine dropping it like a stone in the ocean. It's gone. Then ask, what is my control right now? And take action. Let's say someone insulted you online. Can you control their words? Nah. Can you control whether you stop to their level or state composed? Yes. Let's say you didn't get the job you hoped for. Can you control the decision? Nah. Can you improve skill and trying against? When you live this way, something amazing happens. You become mentally lean, emotionally effective, spiritually strong. You stop throwing your energy at all walls. You pour into wisdom, and slowly worry begins to die, not because life is easier, but because your mindset is stronger. That the Stoics way, as Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comment. I control my action, not the word. Limit your input. Number 3, limit your input to protect your mind. Let's be honest, how many times have you felt anxious, not because of your own life, but because of what you saw, heard, or consumed? Maybe it all negative headline or talk, thick friend ranting about politics, a post on social media that made you feel behind in life. Most of your stress is imported. It's not you picked it up from the world around you. That's why the Stoics were deeply intentional about what they laid into their minds. Seneca warned, associated with people who are likely to improve you, welcome those whom you yourself can improve. The same rule applies today, not just to people, but to everything you consume. You cannot fill your mind with garbage and accept peace. So here's a powerful habit. Limit your input, guard your mind like a temple. How? Unfollow social media account that make you feel insecure, angry, or reactive. Limit news consumption, 5 to 10 minutes a day. Choose source, not endless scrolling. Distance yourself from people who constantly complain, gossip, or bring fear into your life. Curate your digital world. Feed your mind with wisdom, strength, clarity, not noise. This event about being ignorant. It's about preserving your energy. The Stoics believe your mind is like a garden. If you allow weeds to grow unchecked, you never see peace blossom. And here's deeper reason this work. Worry needs fuel. If you strafe it, it dies. You don't have to react to every opinion. You don't have to absorb every story. You don't have to carry pain that isn't even your. A calm mind is not a passive one. It's protected one. Build a mental gate. Ask with every piece of Information strengthen me or weaken me. If it weakens you, it doesn't deserve your attention. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you track to it that matters. But what if your reaction is always shaped by what you allow in control? The input control the output, control your peace. Let this be your reminder, drop it below. I protect my mind like a warrior. Daily reflection number 4, train the mind like a warrior. Imaging, if every night before bed, instead of doom scrolling or drowning stress, you set quietly and ask yourself, how did I live today? This was a core habit of the Stoics. They believed that one of the most powerful ways to eliminate anxiety is to review your action daily, not judge, but to understand. Seneca once wrote, when the light has been removed and my wife has fallen silent, examine my entire day and go back for what I don't. And said, think about it. How much of worry comes from unprocessed thoughts, movement? We never understood emotion, be ignored, mistake. We never learn from, instead of pushing the day away and rushing into the next, the Stoics sit down and face it. They ask, did I act with courage today? Did I let something outside of me control my peace? Did I say something I regret? Did I keep my values by? Reflecting each day, the Stoics doesn't just reminder events, they reprogram the mind. And this habit turns you into a mental warrior. Over time, you start to see patterns, what triggers you, what drains you, what lifts you. You become more aware for your reaction, more disciplined with your emotion, more connected to your principles. Or how to build this habit: every night, take 5 to 10 minutes, sit in silence. Ask, what did I do well today? What can I do better tomorrow? Doesn't shame yourself, just observe. Keep a journal, a possible, let it be your mirror. And if you had a bad day, good now. You know where to grow. Worry multiplies when we run from our past, but when we face it with honesty and calm, it loses its power. Marcus Aurelius did this every night in his meditation. He didn't write them for the world, he wrote them for himself, to remind, grounded, to stay humble, to stay aligned. You can do the same, and the benefit: you go to sleep with clarity, you wake up with purpose, and over time your mind stops spinning. Because reflection grounds you, and a grounded person doesn't get swept away by fear. Number 5, amorati, love fate. Not just accept. Let me ask you something honest. How much you worry comes from resisting reality? You didn't want that relationship to end. You didn't want that opportunity to disappear. You didn't want that bad news to come your way. So what happens? You fight the truth. You replay it, you question it, you wish it were different, and slowly that resistance grows into worry, sadness, even bitterness. But the Stoics had a radical practice for this amorati, love of fate. It means not just accepting what happens, but learning to love it, to treat every twist of fate as your path, not your punishment. Friedrich, not deeply inspired by Stoicism, said, my formula for greatness in a human being is amor fati, that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity. Sound impossible, right? How do you have something painful? Let's break it down. Is not about liking pain, it's about realizing that pain can shape you, about saying, this happened, I cannot change it, but I will use it. You didn't choose that breakup, but maybe it will lead you to find yourself. You didn't choose that failure, but maybe it will teach you humility and persistence. The Stoics saw everything, even tragedy, as fuel. Marcus Aurelius wrote, the impediment to action, advance action. What stands in the way become the way. That problem, it's part of the path. That detour, it's the real direction. When you live like this, you stop clinging to a fantasy of how things should be, and you start embracing life as it is. Here's how to use this habit. Whenever something bad happens, pause, breathe, say amorati. Then ask, how can this shape me? What can this teach me? How do I use this? Instead of letting it use me,